Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're jumping right into a seriously timeless esoteric mystery. We're talking about ancient wisdom that's been passed down through traditional biblical and astrological teachings for centuries, the metaphysics of language. So, have you ever stopped to think that the words you're speaking every single day actually carry this hidden, almost supernatural power? Well, they do. And today we're going to literally peel back the curtain on how your everyday language is actually shaping the very fabric of the reality we live in. Let's get into it. To kick things off, I've got a quick question for you. Think back to when you were a kid, maybe watching a magician perform some trick on stage or on TV. Do you actually know the true meaning behind the most famous magic word in history? I mean, it's a word we all know, right? Usually muttered right before the big reveal. But we need to look a bit deeper into its ancient roots today because honestly, it holds the absolute key to everything we're about to uncover. Okay, let's dive into this. Abracadabra. You see, this isn't just some cheesy prop for a stage show. Not at all. It's actually an ancient Aramaic phrase, and it translates directly to, I create as I speak. Mind-blowing, right? According to this timeless esoteric tradition, language isn't just some practical tool we use to text our friends or order a coffee. No, it is a literal, supernatural force. When you speak, you are actively casting reality into existence. You're acting as a creator. If you want proof of this, just look at the everyday grammar we use. The links, the etymological links between our language and mysticism, they are literally hiding in plain sight. Just think about it for a second. When you arrange letters on a page, what are you doing? You're spelling a word. You are casting a spell. And then when you string all those words together, you create a sentence. And get this, that word is phonetically and historically tied to the concept of a seance. So yeah, it turns out your middle school grammar teacher was actually giving you lessons in spellcraft. Every single time we open our mouths, we are quite literally performing acts of magic. And that brings us to the whole concept of manifesting. Now, I know we hear this buzzword all the time lately, but listen to its actual ancient roots. It comes from the Latin manus, which means hand, and festus, meaning festival. So to manifest something isn't just to get a new car or acquire some physical thing. It actually means to bring a joyous festival into reality. It's beautiful, really. It reflects this divine, super positive intention of creation, drawing actual light right into our physical world. But hey, before you can manifest anything, you gotta have intention. And the word intend literally means to stretch out. Think of like the tendons in your own body stretching. Esoterically speaking, to intend means to physically and energetically stretch out your hands. Those 10 digits, they actually represent the 10 divine emanations of creation. You're stretching out and directing energy. This sets the entire stage for how reality is formed, completely driven by our inner focus.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because the exact metaphysical process of creation follows three very distinct steps. First up, you have the intention. This is the seed, right? It begins in the mind and the heart. Second, there's the incantation. This is the spoken word, the actual physical vibration you are introducing into the world. And finally, number 3, there's the casting. That's where that spoken intention takes physical form and becomes, well, our reality.
Now, in traditional esoteric philosophy, mastering this specific three-step process is part of what's known as the great work. And the great work is really the ultimate goal behind all these spiritual mechanics. It's this incredibly conscious, deliberate effort to unify all opposites. We're talking light and dark, left and right, male and female, bringing it all back into a single divine source. Essentially, it's about the complete development, purification, and unification of your immortal soul, just by properly using this creative power we've been given. There's this ancient maxim that beautifully reminds us, the world is full of magical things, patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. These esoteric mysteries we're talking about, they aren't locked away in some dusty hidden vault. Not at all. They are hidden right in plain sight. They're literally sitting in our dictionaries, our everyday grammar, even our own anatomy. They are just there, patiently waiting for our conscious awakening. But you know, with all this creative power comes some pretty immense responsibility, because every single person is wielding this metaphysical force every day. Traditional wisdom warns us of a very deep duality here. It contrasts what's known as the white magician with the black magician. The white or light magician intentionally uses this power to liberate, to unify, and to serve the immortal soul. On the flip side, the black magician uses language and intention to dominate, to control, and is driven almost entirely by mortal glory and ego. And the truth is, we all have to choose which path we're walking every single day. Understanding that duality completely reframes how we look at the words we use. Take cursing or swearing, for example. In the esoteric sense, cursing isn't about dropping an F-bomb or using modern profanity.
No, to truly swear or curse means to speak a lie and then to falsely bind that untrue oath to the divine. It's about speaking deceit into the world. And when you do that, it actively severs your connection to the truth and, essentially, aligns you with that darker magic we just talked about.
So the crucial point is this: every intentional act is a magical act. Honestly, whether you realize it or not, your daily choices, the little promises you make, and all those words you casually throw around, they carry some absolutely profound metaphysical weight. You are a creator. You're either actively speaking light into your surroundings or, you're weaving a web of darkness. It's really that simple.
And wow, the tradition gets even deeper here. These timeless teachings warn us that our thoughts, our unbridled passions, and those careless words we let slip, they literally cast molds. Kind of like how a blacksmith casts molten metal into a specific shape. Well, your dark intentions cast molds that actually birth unseen entities, sometimes referred to as demons, right in the superphysical realm. Your negative energy literally takes on a metaphysical form. No way around it.
Now imagine what happens when large groups of people engage in this simultaneously. It creates what esoteric traditions call an egregore. An egregore is basically a non-physical entity, but it arises directly from collective thoughts and intentions. Think about it. If a whole community is bound up by fear or anger or deceit, their collective dark intentions can cast these massive, incredibly heavy spells over entire cultures. It literally shapes the reality of society itself. It's like a giant psychic storm.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ancient concept of the demiurge. Now, I know the demiurge is very often misunderstood as some sort of external, malevolent god floating up in the sky. But structurally and linguistically, the demiurge is actually the contemplative mind of man. It's the collective mind of humanity taking raw, unformed forces and bringing those forms into conscious reality. We are the ones shaping the world, guys, for better or for worse. It's all us.
So how in the world do we break these collective dark spells? How do we actually reclaim our minds? Well, let's pivot for a second to a really fascinating allegory. Let me ask you this. What is the real esoteric truth behind the world's most famous magic trick? Pulling a rabbit out of a hat? I mean, it seems like just a simple parlor trick, right? But believe it or not, it actually contains the exact blueprint for ultimate spiritual spell breaking.
Okay, let's decode the astrological and anatomical symbolism going on here. It's super cool. First, the hat. The hat represents the top of the human body, the head, which astrologically speaking corresponds directly to Aries, the ram. Then you've got the wand the magician is holding. That represents the human spinal column, which is exactly where your life energy travels upward. And finally, the rabbit. Obviously associated with spring and Easter, the rabbit is this incredible universal symbol of rebirth, fertility, and ultimately, enlightenment.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it all connects. When the magician taps that hat with the wand and pulls out the rabbit, it's actually a profound allegory. It's an allegory for tapping the head, the Aries, with the wand of your own upward spinal energy and bringing forth true esoteric rebirth. It perfectly symbolizes pulling pure enlightenment directly from the mind, completely breaking through the illusions, and just leaving all that dark magic behind you.
And to actually achieve this enlightenment, all these traditional teachings point back to one thing: the Logos. The Logos is the ultimate word of truth and light. Seriously, it is the divine spellbreaker. When you align your mind and your speech with the Logos, you are introducing this pure, incorruptible light into the world. And that light, it immediately dispels all those egregores, all the lies, and all that heavy linguistic manipulation that the world has been constantly casting upon you.
Which brings us right to this absolutely foundational piece of biblical wisdom. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Now you have to understand, this isn't just some basic rule about being an honest person. It's a literal metaphysical instruction. It's telling you to speak with absolute pure intention. Let your yes actually mean yes and your no mean no. Because by speaking only absolute truth, you naturally draw down the powers of light and you completely protect yourself from accidentally casting dark spells.
Look, everything we've covered today reveals one massive truth. You are an active participant in the creation of the world. Your words, they are definitely not just empty air. They are quite literally the chisels carving out your reality. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one powerful thought to carry with you. Knowing the profound supernatural weight of your everyday language, what reality will you spell into existence today?